Hi everyone, Matthew here. Professor Overman tells me to think more like a Hebrew and less like a Greek. What does that mean? Well, one of the areas where a lot of Americans think more like Greeks than Hebrews is in the area of physical labor. In a recent video, Professor Overman said that ruling well over this material world includes making our bed in the morning. It also includes washing dishes and mowing the lawn. Thank God for car mechanics and for others who work with their hands. This is one of those areas where the ancient Hebrews viewed things very differently than the Greeks. Here's a short video that explains what I'm talking about.
The ancient Hebrews did not devalue the physical world, nor did they dishonor physical labor. The Greek philosophers, on the other hand, degraded manual labor and looked down upon those who performed it, while honoring artists, educators, and other thinkers. Ancient Hebrews actually valued labor and did not see it as beneath their dignity at all. As a matter of fact, it was expected that the rabbis in Jesus' day would know not only Torah, the law, but would be apt at a physical trade. The famous Rabbi Hillel was a woodcutter, and the equally famous Rabbi Shammai was a carpenter. Paul, of course, was a tent maker, and Jesus himself was a carpenter. It was considered a shame for a Jewish father to not teach his son to work with his hands. The Jewish Talmud says, "Just as a man is required to teach his son Torah, so is he required to teach him a trade." It was felt that whoever did not teach his son the law and a trade would bring him up to be a fool and a thief. Physical labor in itself was not a curse brought on by sin. God instructed Adam to dress and keep the garden prior to the fall. The entrance of sin into the world made man's work more difficult, but physical labor itself was a good thing. It is interesting to note that the Hebrew word for work and worship are one and the same, avodah.
If some of us decide to go to a trade school instead of the university, we're not missing God's best for our lives. In fact, God's best for some of us might mean being a car mechanic or a plumber or an electrician. As the professor says, onward and upward.